How the planets align with the chakras, why meditation is crucial for humans. And I, in this video, am going to completely flip your understanding of the role of the planets and the role of humans inside out. This is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and welcome to the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, I need you to do a couple things. First off, I need you to subscribe. I need you to like. I need you to give the thumbs up. I need you to leave comments. All of those things help me get out from underneath the shadow ban that this channel is pretty much under all the time, because I speak transformational truths, and the narrative doesn't like that. Also, go to Rumble and subscribe to my Rumble channel, because that's where I'm going to talk about all kinds of spicy stuff that I can't talk about here. Also, bear in mind, all this stuff here is here for you for a reason. Interdimensional Revolution is one of my books. Go check out my books. Michael William Denny, that's my name right there, .com. You can see it on there. Courses.thunderwizard.com. And of course, we will be talking about thunderwizard.com, the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. Go to all of those websites. They're there for a reason. All right. How the planets align with the chakras. This is going to blow your mind. Not just because we're going to talk about how the planets align with the chakras in your body, but when you understand the scope of what this means, it's going to completely shift your understanding of what it means to be human. So I tell you, as you know, more times than you've been able to count if you've been on my channel, I tell you things like you have to drop the victim mentality. You have to drop the anger. You have to drop the fear. You have to drop beliefs like the belief in false beings of light trying to trap you into reincarnation. I tell you over and over again that if you are a human being, it means, number one, that you have chosen to be here. I'm sorry if you had a difficult life. I understand that. But you have chosen to be here, and you must take full responsibility for that. But more importantly, and this one is hard for people to swallow. People have a hard time with this, and that's because we have, in fact, been programmed by this 3D matrix prison planet. And that is that only the most advanced souls in the entire multiverse get an opportunity to incarnate as a human being. So that means you aren't just another soul out there. You know, we've got it all backwards. We've been programmed to believe that us poor humans, we're struggling to evolve, and maybe if we can achieve enlightenment, we won't reincarnate, and then we can escape to higher dimensions. It's not how this happened. It's the other way around. You were in higher dimensions. You were among the most powerful infinite beings in the multiverse, and you said, I want to get even stronger. I want to learn even more. I want to be in such a pressurized environment that all of my failings come to the surface. Because when you live in infinity and you're an infinite, omnipotent, omniscient being, your little tiny flaws really don't show up. I mean, nobody sees them. You don't experience them. You know, people only act, in shady ways when the pressure is really put on them. And, other than that, if everybody has everything, you only have crime in places where people don't have jobs and don't have money and don't have access to that stuff, or they're mentally, emotionally, psychologically screwed up. But people who are healthy and happy, who've been loved in their life, they have plenty of resources, they tend not to be criminals. So in terms of your sins, those are things deep within your multi-dimensional infinite soul that only come out if you really go under the pressure cooker. So if you've had a very, very difficult, challenging, painful life, I feel for you. I don't want to dismiss that, but it means that, and remember I told you this. When you leave your body and you go to higher dimensions, you'll remember that I told you. You know, oh, that guy was right. That Mahadeva was right. I remember now. I chose to go back there because I wanted to remember what it was like to truly go into my own identity and not live for other people, for example. So we need to drop all of the ideas associated that limit and devalue human beings. If you are a starseed and you believe you're a starseed, it's because you are. If you're a light worker, that's because you've chosen to take the actions of a light worker, but your essence is of a starseed. And we must understand that every single human being on the planet, no matter how corrupt or horrible or evil we may think they are, that is an extremely advanced soul that has chosen to go into the crucible of Earth. And so there are no such things as NPCs. This is bigotry. This is spiritual racism. There are no such things as people who aren't starseeds who are here on Earth. There's no such thing as demons incarnating as humans. This is all coming from your projection. Because if you say that there are humans that are on this planet who can be demons, who might be NPCs, who might not be advanced starseeds, these are the feelings that you have about yourself that you either are unaware of or can't tolerate. And so what do? You project them onto other people. It's bigotry, it's racism, it devalues others to make yourself feel better. And we can solve that by just letting you know you are it. You are the ultimate. Whatever you can imagine as the ultimate being in the universe, that's what you are. So get over it, accept your immensity, and then allow other people to be that as well. If somebody's further behind you on the path to evolution and they're doing destructive things to themselves or others, you can have compassion because you go, well, that's an advanced soul who's really learning some hard lessons in this life. That is the assumption that you have to understand the enormity of what I'm about to tell you. How the planets align with the chakras. So I had just recently come across this. You'd think I would have come across it earlier, but as you know, I am into many, many different things. But it was so fascinating to me, and what it revealed to me about our connection to the light beings really blew my mind. So in your body, all of the 7 chakras are associated with the first 7 planets. So if you look at this little diagram here, you can see that the root chakra is Mars, the sexual chakra is Venus, the navel chakra is Sun, the heart chakra is associated with both Moon and Saturn, Mercury is associated with the throat chakra, Jupiter is associated with the third eye. So I put up there the self is, the higher self is associated with the crown chakra. But let's look at those first 7. Jupiter, Mercury, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all those other planets there, those are the 7 visible planets. So let's just think about that for a second. What that means is that your physical body is a microcosm of the solar system. Your physical body is a microcosm of the solar system. Now, if you're at all aware of what chakras are, unlike the remove the chakras nonsense that was popular a while back, you can't function on Earth without them. Because the chakras, as I've said, if you're new to the channel, it really benefits you to go back and search my channel. Search my channel for chakras. Search my channel for karma. Search my channel for demon possession. Search my channel for reincarnation. Because a lot of the new people, like, just recently I got a comment today. Somebody dropped a comment, and it's obvious they are new to the channel and have not spent any time listening to the things that I teach. So spend some time, if you're new to the channel, and you've got time, learn how to search within the channel, Very simple. On a laptop, you go to the magnifying glass, you click on it, and you type in whatever search term you want. Do that so you can learn what it is that I teach. Because the more that you understand the assumptions behind what we're talking about, the more amazing and powerful the things I'm going to tell you today are going to mean to you. So your chakras are not dantians. Dantians are energy collection points, and they are superimposed on each other. So the third eye is right here where the upper dantian is, and they're superimposed on each other. The heart chakra and the middle dantian are superimposed over each other. The navel chakra is superimposed over the lower dantian. And the chakras are directly associated with the spinal column. And the spinal column is where the kundalini is. Now, what is kundalini? Kundalini is not life force energy. That's prana or chi. Kundalini is a fifth dimensional energy associated with consciousness, meaning super consciousness. I know this from personal experience now. I'm not talking theory. I didn't read it anywhere. By personally interacting with higher dimensional beings, I have come to find out firsthand that their energy is kundalini. They have incredibly powerful kundalini. And I've come to the conclusion as a result of that kundalini, unlike on Earth, is incredibly dominant in the fifth dimension and above. So like prana is here, we breathe in air, we breathe in oxygen, we breathe in chi or life force energy for our third dimensional bodies. I'm saying that kundalini is like that for higher dimensional beings. So when you come in contact with a higher dimensional being and they open up the curtain between the dimensions and let you feel their energy, what will happen without any doubt is your kundalini will be stimulated and rise very quickly. And so that means your chakras will also be stimulated. So think about it. You have 7 major chakras. Some people say there are more. But you have 7 major chakras that are on the spinal column that align with your consciousness. In case you didn't know what the whole thing is about, again, I have videos about this, go watch them. Rising kundalini up the spinal column, stimulating the chakras, has to do with your maturity and your evolution having to do with those chakras. Those chakras are portals to dimensional awarenesses. So the root chakra is about physical stuff, physical security. The sexual chakra is about coming out of your narcissism and beginning the process of relating to other people, and creativity. The third chakra is about knowing your identity, and you go through the lessons of, again, another level of narcissism and learning how to either be wrapped up in yourself and being controlling and abusive, which would be the negative, the lower aspect of the navel chakra, or you learn how to sacrifice like a warrior or an emergency medical technician or a fireman. You sacrifice yourself for others. That is the true nature of the navel chakra. And then you have the heart chakra, which is about understanding where you end and other people begin. On the lower side of it, you get involved in religion, cults, codependence. You do things like go door to door with your particular religion and say, have you accepted Jesus yet? Be like us, be a part of our club. And then when you get and become more mature, then you realize, oh, he doesn't have to be part of my thing. He has his own reality to live. Well, no, live your own life. I love you unconditionally from afar. And then you move to the throat chakra, where you learn how to speak your truth, and you learn how to speak the words of God as it is, and you learn how to separate yourself from the world. Teachers who live from here, the ones that live on the mountaintops, those are people who aren't part of society anymore. They're only interested in connecting to the divine, and they speak the truth. That's why you climb the mountain, to listen to what they have to say. And then up here at the third eye chakra is where you begin the process of seeing things from a truly spiritual perspective. You detach even more from the physical realm. And then, of course, the crown chakra is when you disconnect entirely from all of it. And then you go back down. Kundalini doesn't just rise. If you just get to the crown chakra and stop there, you are worthless. You are an insane person. This is people who have Kundalini psychosis, who believe they're God and also feel like they're being attacked, and they're, all of that. That's your Kundalini's only gone halfway. When it goes all the way back down again, now you're a completely, totally awakened individual. So these 7 chakras are here for that purpose, for your spiritual evolution. This is why human bodies have been chosen and crafted over millions of years. If you want to talk about evolution, it took millions and millions of years before modern humans came about. And modern humans have only been on the planet for 100,000 years. And even then, we could debate whether or not, 100,000 years ago, those were actually truly modern humans. So this is something very new. That means that something or somebody spent millions of years creating, experimenting, and testing on the perfect physical body that would house these 7 major chakras. And then to see that these chakras align with the planets. So I want you to think about this for a second. Millions of years have been spent crafting your physical body, the human being. We used to be lemurs. Before that, we were rodents. Then we were lemurs, and then we learned how to walk on 2 legs. And then at some point, somebody said, okay, now we can start putting souls in these animals. These animals are now prepared. They have the ability to house an infinite soul. And those 7 chakras were how they came about. However they came about, I'm not going to get into that. But they're associated with each one of the planets. What does that mean about the planets? I want you to think about this for a second. What that means is that the planets were put into our solar system to empower you. Why do you think there are so many humans on planet Earth? It took a long time to perfect Earth and humans so that souls could start coming here. Once that happened, what started happening? You don't see it with any other, except for maybe insects. You don't see it with any other species on the planet. Human beings reproduced, just unbelievably fast. There's so many people on the planet now. That tells you that there was a backlog of billions of infinite beings out there that were slotted to have the human experience. The planets are here for you. The solar system was created for one major purpose, so that the school of life on Earth would be empowered. This is why astrology may be the most important science. And by astrology, I mean Vedic astrology. I'm okay with Western astrology if you do the sidereal zodiac. Unfortunately, the tropical zodiac is an inaccurate calculation of the sky. So those of you looking at your Western tropical zodiac, it's very likely that the placements of your planets are wrong. So just do the sidereal zodiac. You can do sidereal Western. Vedic already does the Western, Vedic already does the sidereal zodiac. But once again, I digress. The planets have formed in the solar system. When did they form? They formed billions of years before Earth even began creating life. Now, again, time is relative. So for the beings off in other dimensions, that's not a big deal. But in linear space-time, that's huge. The amount of effort that's gone into creating you, giving you the ability to live on Earth and learn and grow. This means that Earth, in a very real sense, is the center of the solar system. Now, I understand that the sun is the center of the solar system, but the whole point of the sun coming into our dimension. And here's what you need to understand about the planets. And again, this isn't something I read. This is something I've experienced. The planets themselves are higher dimensional beings. And the planets themselves are completely devoted to your evolution. There are beings of tremendous power that are interacting with each one of the planets. There are guardians and teachers on each one of the planets in a higher dimensional state. Again, I know this from personal experience. And what that means is that we know for a fact, even from a purely 3D scientific perspective, that the planets have a huge impact on life on planet Earth. If the solar system was different, there wouldn't be life on Earth. We know this. This isn't just true physically, it's also true spiritually. And so if you have each one of the planets associated with one of these chakras, and the chakras are the gateways that Kundalini uses to evolve and grow, it means that these planets have come into being for one purpose only, and that is to help you evolve. And to make it even more amazing, each one of the planets is a conscious higher dimensional being. And, if you've ever done CE5, Google it if you don't know what I'm talking about, the letter C, the letter E, the number 5. If you've ever done CE5 where you sit out and you do that, orbs will show up. Orbs of light will sometimes show up in your camp. Orbs will show up in the sky, but it's orbs usually. People are expecting to see spaceships, which does happen. Spaceships that are in higher dimensions will phase in and out of 3D just to let you know that they're there. And there are plenty of those. But if a higher dimensional being wants to interact with you, one of the easiest ways for it to do that is to simply sort of poke its finger into the third dimension. And so whenever a higher dimensional being comes into our dimension, what you will see is an orb, a sphere. And guess what all of the planets are? They're spheres, they're orbs. They're higher dimensional beings. And the sun, we think about how incredibly amazing the sun is. The sun is a deity, an incredibly powerful deity, who has literally poked her head into the third dimension for you. The sun is connected to your idea of self. It represents the soul, the deepest identity of who you are. Mercury represents your intellect. And there are beings surrounding Mercury on a higher dimensional level that you can interact with, who will come and teach you. And Mercury itself is shining on you in different ways to show you and help you mold your intellect, so your intellect will help you to think, to contemplate on spiritual ideas. Venus. Venus is an unbelievably creative, beautiful goddess of love and connection who has manifested in our solar system for you. And she moves around the earth doing her thing, helping you to shift and evolve. The earth herself is a higher dimensional being who acts as your mother, one of your mothers. The sun is another one. The sun is feminine on the inside, masculine on the outside. The sun is one of your mothers. Don't believe me? Go look up what the word Aditi means. That's one of the names for the sun goddess. Go study the ancestral word for sun, which is Sunna, which means the goddess of the sun. The sun is a goddess. She is your mother. The moon. The moon was created as a result of a collision between the Earth and another planet, and as a result of that, it orbited around the Earth, and it is your mind. Not your intellect, but your mind. Your mind is closer to you than your intellect. And the moon is there for one reason. Besides being a space station for Earth, there's human space stations on Earth, as well as other beings. The moon is your mind. And if you do your research, you'll find out that the moon is a man, is male. Here's the thing. The rays of the sun are masculine. The sun herself is feminine. The rays of the moon are feminine, but the moon himself is masculine. Go do your research. Don't take my word for it. So you have the moon who's come into existence solely to give you the ability to reflect on your soul, to meditate. Mars, associated with your blood, your energy, your drive, your immune system, your vitality, is here to teach you about that, to empower you physically. Jupiter, your third eye, is your spirituality. And Jupiter is, I work with Jupiter, and Jupiter is unbelievably powerful. And when a Jupiterian being comes to visit you and gives you an energy transmission, you will know what I'm talking about. And I have videos on how to do that if you want. And in your chart, if you say, well, I don't feel connected to this planet so much, but this one, well, you look at your horoscope and you'll see where all of these teachers are. Every one of the planets is a higher dimensional teacher who has been placed in this solar system, at least in the third dimension. They probably exist on multiple other dimensions as well. They have their own lives in many other dimensions, but one of their lives is to be here, orbiting Earth. One of the things I'm enjoying now that I know that we are having this solar event is I'm watching on a daily basis the solar storms and the coronal mass ejections and all of that. And what I've found is that there's a really interesting dynamic when it comes to the Earth and the magnetic field of all of the other planets. There's a magnetic current that all of the planets feed into. And so even if the sun shoots out a huge coronal mass ejection or a solar flare out into space away from Earth, it hits the other planets. So the sun is sending energy and spiritual empowerment to all of the planets for one reason: so that the planets can help you evolve spiritually. That means that it's the opposite of what we have been programmed to believe by our own personal experience in the third dimension, as well as religion, as well as science, as well as mainstream. Everything has programmed you to believe that the Earth just sort of farted itself into existence, and somehow all of this amazing diverse life sort of by chance farted itself onto the earth, and you are just one of these little blips and farts, and you don't really have any value. You're gonna, there's no other life on the planet. It just, it just happened to be some strange happenstance. But think about it. The amount of, I'm sitting here in this jungle here in Australia. It's absolutely beautiful forested beach house. I mean, it's just, there's no doubt that this is a place that took consciousness to create. Now, I'm not a monotheist, so I don't think there's a one God who did it. I think we did it. When we were infinite deities running around, we came down here. We scoured the planet, and we talked about, what kind of life to create, what continent should have this. I mean, Australia, there are plants and animals in Australia you can't find anywhere. And there's no doubt in my mind that I and you and everybody else who loves Australia for whatever reason decided that we were going to create certain things, and certain animals were going to go here. Certain fish. I mean, we created it. So please drop the victim mentality. I understand your feeling. Don't feel judged. I understand why you feel that way, especially if you've been damaged. And for some reason, a lot of really damaged, traumatized people find their way to my channel. But that's because your spirit wants to hear this message. And the message is that you are an infinite being. It's interesting. I tell people you chose to come here, and people get mad. And they say, why would I do that to myself? Well, the only reason you would ask me that question is if you think that you're weak. Then, of course, that's a smart question. Why, if I'm so weak, would I choose to put myself someplace I don't have the ability to transcend? That's a stupid thing to do. Well, that's a logical question, except your assumption is wrong. Your assumption says that you're a tiny, weak, insignificant, worthless, unlovable little nothing. And then, yeah, you're right. Why would you torture something like that by throwing it onto Earth? But what if you're wrong? Your experience of Earth is a video game. Your physical body is an avatar. If you've ever played video games where you have an avatar, you know you're not your avatar. It's just an avatar. And that's what we are. We are walking around in our avatars, and all of the things we interact with on Earth are just objects on our desktop. They're not real. None of this is real. So all of the pain you're experiencing can be released if you do the work to meditate, gain some distance on it, gain some understanding, connect to your spirit, and then they're just very powerful lessons. So what I really want to focus on here is, again, I want you to think about this. Inside the body of the human being, there are all of the planets in the solar system. For all I know, there are people that say that there are 11 or 12 chakras. And so if we have the 7 visible planets, besides Earth, we have the 2 nodes of the moon, the north and the south node of the moon, Rahu and Ketu. That makes 9 planets. And then we have the 3 planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. That makes 11 planets. So maybe we have 11 chakras. Some people say 12. Maybe there's a 12th, hidden, planet out there that we haven't found yet, or something. The point I'm trying to make is I hope you can understand how amazingly important you are to the universe. And you cannot understand and accept this if you choose to be a victim. So if you're out there saying that the beings of light are lying to you and manipulating you, if you believe that that demons, for instance, is frustrating, that demons incarnate as humans, that there are NPCs on this planet, it means that your base assumption about yourself is that you are a nothing, unlovable piece of crap. Because it means that you see the possibility that There are NPCs on the planet, which means that you think there are people who have no souls and are worthless. It means that you think that there are demons running around in human form that deserve to be destroyed. And if you believe this, it means that's how you think about yourself. Because if you were to create a universe, would you put those beings in your reality? Of course you wouldn't. So it's time for us, when we truly accept the infinity of who we are, the amazing infinity of who we are, you can't help but drop all of the victim mentality, because you can't have both. You can't see yourself as a completely divine, infinite being and at the same time see yourself as a victim of false beings of light. Because that means you're a false being, because you're a being of light. So we need to grow up. This is part of why you came here, so you could overcome the limitations and the doubt within yourself. And it's not so much that you overcome it as you awaken to the reality that you are infinite. Unbelievable what you are. So I could go on, but I'll leave it at that for today. Again, all of the stuff here is for you. Learn how to go onto the channel. If you're new, learn how to search within the channel. Search for chakras, search for reincarnation, search for, whatever you want. Kundalini versus chi. Search about the gods. Learn about what I teach, so you don't come on here and make, ignorant comments where you disagree with me about something because you don't have the first clue what I've been teaching for the past 10 years. Learn what it is that I'm teaching. This is my classroom. I'm not inviting people to come in and correct me. If you want to believe something else, you have my right. I could be wrong about it. Go teach it on your channel. I didn't come knocking on your door asking you to give me unsolicited advice. Don't show your ignorance of this channel by telling me where you think I'm wrong. Show your ability to move beyond your limitations. I want you to listen to what I'm telling you. I've been telling you for years, but it turns out I was right. It turns out I was right years ago when I said we chose to come here. I didn't know that. I intuited that. The only reason that I came to those conclusions wasn't because I read it somewhere or somebody taught it to me. It was because if I thought about it, it didn't make sense. A universe that creates beings and then abuses them is a system that cannot work. It's a system that will fail. So the idea of false beings of light, the idea of God the Father creating people and then throwing them into hell for having the wrong religion, that system can't work, so it can't be correct. My intuition and my critical thinking, when I got past my own fear and my own pain and all that, I said, you know what? I chose to be here. And whatever's gone on in my life, no matter how difficult, even though on paper there's no way I'm responsible for it. I didn't choose my parents. I didn't choose a psychopathic, abusive older brother. I didn't choose that. Well, if I don't accept responsibility for it, I'll never grow past it. People who stay victimized never heal. They never grow. The people who grow are the people who go, I did this to myself somehow. I don't know how, but I take full responsibility, because if I created these very difficult conditions, that means that I can find a way out. But if you didn't create your life, it means you are a victim and you will never, ever grow beyond your limitations. So why do you get mad at me when I tell you that you should drop the victim mentality, take full responsibility for your life? You have the ability to evolve into a God. Why does that anger you? Because you're attached to being a tiny human. And it's time to let go of that. We're moving into a whole new arena where you are going to be a God. And if you don't drop your victim mentality and your misunderstanding about who you are, it's going to be very challenging. When somebody hands you your godhood, it will be very challenging for you. Trust me. So, Everything on this channel, whether it's free, if you go and do the free stuff, the free meditations, the free qigong, the free mantras, the free rituals, you can go onto my channel, look in the playlist, you can search on my channel for all those things. There's far more free practices that will transform you than there are paid ones. So don't give me any crap about I don't want to pay money. Fine. I've given you the Awakening the Immortals Qigong, the most powerful thing you can get for free anywhere on the planet. I've given you the Huul breath, Huul breath. I've given you the I've given you the Heaven Earth Qigong meditation. Those things I just mentioned are the most powerful things you will find anywhere, paid or otherwise. Go use them. You want the higher stuff? Go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Follow my instructions to the letter. You will be empowered. You will have to drop your victim mentality. You will feel the power within you, and you will begin to grow beyond it, and you will be able to rise to that level of being a god. Courses.thunderwizard.com. No shortage of services and things that I teach. Go check it out. My books, Interdimensional Revolution. Extraterrestrials are coming to Earth. Odin says Jesus was a coward. You can find that on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. You can see my name right there. To my right, to your left, Michael William Denny. Just go type that in, put .com. You can find all of my books. You can do the Interdimensional Meditation course. I have free ones here on the channel, and I have other ones that are guided also. The free ones are guided. I have other guided ones also on thunderwizard.com. These things are here for you. I now know why I'm here on this planet. I'm here on this planet right now to give you these tools. That's the reason I was born. So take advantage of this stuff. I know what I'm doing. That's it. Thanks, guys, for showing up. Hopefully we'll get back to the live streams. My internet seems to be doing better, but there's you can hear construction and stuff like that going on. So maybe coming up soon I'll do some live streams. That's it. I wish you all the best. Leave a comment, preferably a question. If I like your question, I will do a video on it. Okay? That's it. Thank you so much for showing up. I wish you all the best, and I will see you all very soon. Take care.